Welcome, everybody, to Films and Fermentation. Tonight is episode 87. It is our fourth season finale titled Scrooge You.
Bah humbug.
That's right, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're just three Scrooges who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. Tonight's episode, as I said, is our fourth season finale. We celebrate the holidays by discussing our favorite actors to play the role of Scrooge. We'll look at the best Scrooges according to Ranker.com and end with a little gender-swapped recasting of Scrooge. Plus, we'll do a little look ahead at Season 5, which will be premiering on January 9th. Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. This episode, as always, is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby is an all-natural energy drink. It uses patented all-natural coffee cherry extract to help fuel you. This ingredient is what gives Dubby its laser focus and fast reflexes, making it the perfect drink for gamers everywhere. Dubby contains important amino acids and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply do not have. Dubby never uses fillers or artificial colors. It's a sugar-free and keto-friendly alternative energy drink. Choose from flavors such as Dragonade, Beach and Peach, and Galaxy Grenade. Guaranteed to boost energy without giving you the jitters. Go to dubby.gg today to order yours. Use the promo code FilmsFerment and receive 10% off every order every time. Dubby, be better.
Dubby!
.gg. I think over the break, this little hiatus that we're going to take during the holidays, I should rewrite the ad copies and come up with something a little more creative and maybe some interactive so I'm not reading the same shit every week. At this point, you would think I'd have it memorized, but you know.
Hey guys, would you
Hey,
like
guys.
an all-in-one supernatural app or audio app for iOS?
Have you ever felt sluggish while you were playing
It's a
Lego Star
drink.
Wars? So what are we drinking this evening, gentlemen?
I got a theme drink.
Ooh, what's your theme?
Ooh.
So I found this on the web. It's really called a peppermint White Russian, but they call it the Ghost of Christmas Present. So it's peppermint vodka, Kahlua, and milk.
Nice.
Sounds good.
Sounds
How's
good,
it taste?
Sounds
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
holiday-ish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had two options for tonight, and I wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with. And then I decided, I should go with something that's at least somewhat close to holiday themed. So I got a gift from my buddy Sal the other night for Christmas. He bought me a bottle of whiskey that's called Elvis whiskey, and it's got a big picture of Elvis on the front. And I originally was going to try that out, and I'm like, I don't know, do I want to do that tonight? But then we had a white elephant gift exchange at my school the other day, and I walked away with what I believe was the best gift at the White Elephant Exchange: a 6-pack of beer samplers.
Nice.
Nice.
You had to see me steal that one right quick.
Yeah.
So I have 3 different beers to try on here. They're all from Steiner, which is part of the Spetzel Brewery, which is in somewhere. I don't know. I can't see what it says on here. So I have a chocolate raspberry porter, a toasted lager, or a vanilla cold brew coffee ale.
Ooh.
One is 6% alcohol by volume, one is 4.5%, and the other one is 5%. So which one do you think I should try?
You want to go low to high, high to low?
Let's go. I'm really curious about the chocolate raspberry porter, so I think I'm going to try that one first.
Go for it.
Yeah. So I figured these are at least somewhat close to like Christmas themed in their flavor palettes. So Kev, what you got going on?
I'm continuing to consume what my dear friend Mike gave us a few weeks ago. I'm going to start with some Long Johns from Yards, which is a 6% alcohol by volume winter lager. And I'll finish it up with a little winter warmer from Harpoon. And this is also a 6% alcohol by volume. This is a holiday ale with cinnamon and nutmeg.
I had both on last week's show when we went off. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We kind of went off the rails a little bit last week.
A little bit?
No,
Just
we
a
never go
little
off the
bit.
rails.
Just
Everything we do is
tiny bit.
calculated and precise.
Yeah, we're so good at calculation. Calculation. I didn't even drink it. I didn't even taste this yet.
Jesus.
It's
first
a form
of all,
division. It's the calculation.
Leo didn't color code the thank yous, and he screwed that up.
And I screwed it up, and I'm the one who said we'll be all right with it. Oh my, that is rather tasty.
Yeah.
That is a tasty beverage.
Who's that
Chocolate.
again?
This is Shiner Chocolate Raspberry Porter by Spetzel Brewery. Spetzel Brewery is in Shiner, Texas. This is an ale brewed with cocoa nibs, raspberry, and natural flavors. This is very, very tasty. It tastes kind of like one of those like chocolate raspberry, like the candies you get in a box like Valentine's Day and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes kind of like that, but in beer form.
Oh wow! I would like to try that.
That's a very good brew. I'll save you the other one. So, Mike, anything historical happened recently? Or in
this day in film history. This day in film history, The Muppets Christmas Carol was released on this date in 1992.
We're Marley.
Better off for it.
Yes, we are.
I laugh every time Waldorf and Statler show up as the ghosts because it's like I don't know what it is, but every time they introduce themselves as Jacob and Bob Marley, I laugh. I can't help myself. It's just such a funny joke to me for some reason.
The Bears.
We of course will talk about that a little bit later when we do our Scrooge off. What else happened today?
1939, Gone with the Wind, drama film directed by Victor Fleming and starring Clark Gable and Vivian Leigh, premieres in Atlanta. Best Picture 1940, inflation not adjusted, highest grossing film of all time.
Wow. Interesting. It's also because it's a film that's been re-released on occasion too, so that kind of counts towards the box office.
Yeah.
I just re-listened to our first Twin Films episode recently, and we had talked about it a little bit because it was the same year the movie called Jezebel came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't remember who the other actress was, but she wanted to be in Gone with the Wind and didn't get it, so her producer friend created a movie just for her. And I can't remember. I think it was. I can't remember who the actress was now at this point. But yeah, Gone with the Wind's a classic. It also
Sean Young.
Yeah, Sean Young. It's been around that long.
Mm-hmm.
Controversial for its time because of its use of the word "damn."
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn.
Profanity.
Yeah, it's funny that in 1939 they made such a big deal over the word "damn." I just recently watched a movie where somebody called another character a cock gobbler.
Oh, I know that movie.
Yeah, it's every American Pie film that ever came out. All right. What's your fun drink fact for tonight, Mike?
Excuse me. I have another one of the top 20 must-try beers for you. We probably have all tried this one, though. Allagash White.
Yes.
Allagash Brewing Company, Portland, Maryland.
I like Allagash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good beer. Fresh lemon, soft clove, and some weedy grain aromas greet the nose from this 5.2% alcohol by volume, pale, hazy yellow beer. The best part is the palate. Hold on. The best part is the palate. Sorry.
I thought you froze for a second.
Sweet with a pillowy mouthfeel. The taste of coriander seed, lemon, and orange peel, cereal, and clove, with a very faint tartness wrapping things up.
Did you say cereal and clove?
What it says.
Huh?
Cereal?
Cereal?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. Just not sure what that is. I'm thinking Fruity Pebbles or some shit like that.
Frosted Flakes, man. Frosted Flakes.
Flakes.
Like that song says, cereal and clover.
Allagash is a good brewery. It's nice.
Yeah, I like
went
Allagash a lot.
We went up when we went camping up in the why can't I think of Acadia National Park. We went camping up there, and we went to Portland after our camping trip, and the brewery is really nice. They wouldn't let us in because it was still kind of COVID-ish times, but good food, good brews.
Yeah, I like and the Allagash White's one that I've had before, and I like the Allagash White.
Yeah, it's a good go-to.
Last Friday, my department, we all went out for a happy hour at the Poorhouse out in North Wales. And after I drank them dry of the Devil's Backbone Vienna Lager they had on tap, I went to the Allagash White.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, notes from last show, our synopsis according to Glip. This is probably the closest that Glip has actually gotten to somewhat summarizing what the show is about. Like, it's not too far off. The speakers talked about finding the Sesame Street one, diversity of celebrities, fucking it up, Houses of the Dragons,
Again.
the first Christmas special, Films Time Forgot, Friends with Benefits, and obviously movies.
I don't remember that last one. I don't remember us talking.
You don't remember talking about movies at all?
No.
So, like, the Finding the Sesame Street one was you were trying to find the Sesame Street Christmas special or something, I think.
Yeah, it was the one.
And then I made a joke about how I'm all about diversity in film.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking it up, of course, was me fucking it up. I don't know how House of the Dragons came up again. I guess we were retelling the story about the Negroni thing.
Mm-hmm.
The first Christmas special was our first Christmas special that we had, mentioned on the show. Films Time Forgot's, of course, our season premiere episode. Friends with Benefits was one of the twin films we talked about when we talked about all those other movies. Dude, episode 86 was fucking hilarious. It was great. I wasn't sure if it was going to be as interesting as the first twin films one because I thought the 1970s, 80s, and 90s twin films were a lot more interesting. And more fun to guess, but you guys did a really good job. The 2000s one better than I thought you were going to do, and the fact that we were all drinking the same beer and we all were feeling it by the end of the show.
They were some strong beers.
made it a very, very interesting show by the end. It was really fun. Truly, as I like to say, off the rail glory. Also, over the week, the Golden Globes were announced. I'm not going to go through everything because it's a lot of shit on here, but there's a couple of things that kind of stood out to me that I wanted to kind of point out. The Best Picture drama nominations. I haven't seen any of these yet. I would like to see all of them. Well, I don't know if I really want to see Avatar or not, but it's on there. Avatar: The Way of Water is nominated for Best Picture, as is Elvis, which I've heard some really good things about. The Fabelmans, which I really want to see. That's the Spielberg film, and that's probably heavily favored to win right now.
Yeah.
Tar, which stars Cate Blanchett as a conductor of an orchestra who's kind of going through depression and anxiety and stuff. And I've heard really good things about her performance in that. And Top Gun Maverick, getting a lot of love. A lot of people. It seems like Top Gun has been universally considered better than the original Top Gun at this point.
A nostalgia film of this generation.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of love. The Best Actress for Drama, Cate Blanchett for the movie I just mentioned, and my girl, Ana de Armas, is up for Blonde. A movie I still haven't finished yet because it's like 9.5 hours long. I'm excited about this one. Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture. One of the nominees is Brendan Fraser
For the Whale.
For The Whale, which I saw
I just saw the trailer.
Yeah, and it looked really good. I
It
thought
did.
he looked amazing in it. Like, and I'm not just talking about like the makeup that they did to make him look like me, but
Now he
the
made you look small.
yeah, the performance looks amazing. Like, I really want to check that out.
Yeah.
For musical or comedy best picture, one of the movies that I think is one of the best movies of the year was nominated, and that's Everything Everywhere All at Once with Michelle Yeoh. That
Mm-hmm.
movie is great. If you haven't seen it yet, you really got to check
Mhm.
that out. Babylon, which I haven't seen yet, but I want to see. It's Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie, and it's from the guy that did La La Land.
Okay.
The Banshees of Inisherin, which is Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson reuniting like 15 years later after doing In Bruges. And it looks like a pretty funny movie. I want to check that out. The Glass Onion, the new Knives Out film, is up for nomination.
I still have to
It's
watch
been
that.
getting a lot of reviews saying that it's like better than the first one, and I
Whoa.
thought Knives Out was really good, so I
Mhm.
definitely would check that out. Yeah. And then Michelle Yeoh is up for Best Actress for musical or comedy, and she's one of the front runners for an Oscar nomination this year. As is in the supporting actress category, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Huh.
She was really, really good in that film. Angela Bassett got a nomination for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Wow.
I haven't watched it yet. I started watching it but didn't finish it. But from some of the scenes that I've seen of her in it, it looks like a powerhouse performance.
Okay.
And it would be cool to see her get like the first acting nomination in a Marvel film.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that I'm kind of excited about here is another nominee from Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ki Hui Kwan, who you might not recognize the name, but if I said "No Time for Love, Dr. Jones," you would know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Short round.
Short Round, 30 some years later, makes a star turn in Everything Everywhere All at Once and gets nominated for a Golden Globe.
He was a Goonie. Come on. The Goonies never say die.
He was a Goonie too, yes, and he's really good in that movie. I'm telling you, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a movie worth watching. It was a really fun movie.
Okay.
So as always, we have some shout outs, and with the shout outs, I have some messages that I got on Twitter that I will read along with it. So Mike, why don't you start us off there?
I'm going to give a shout out to the wrestling world with Austin Boyer.
Shout out to Manic Pixie Weirdo Podcast.
Thanks to Recasted 2.0 and Wayne. We hopefully will get to be on your show sometime soon.
Yeah, he said, I'll give you guys his info. He said you can contact him whenever you want.
Cool.
Bar Banter. I'm sorry, Mike,
Hey.
that's you. I fucked it up again. Say.
You guys fucked it up again, I tell you.
Even color coded, damn it.
Yeah, I know. I even color coded it this week. So I'll read that one. You read the next one, and then we'll try to get back into order things here. So shout out to the Bar Banter guys.
Shout out to the Screen Snobs.
Why, hello, Mr. Gentleman.
Hey, we're going to give a shout out to 8750 with Yeti Yuff.
Shout out, as always, to Space Castle, who made our logo.
Thanks, Fandalorians, for all your support.
I'd like to give a thanks to the Geeky Dad podcast.
Geeky Dad wrote to us on Twitter after telling him that we shouted out his show on our last episode. He said, "Thanks, guys. Definitely going to return the favor on an upcoming episode of mine." Shout out to All Hallows Eve. They're turning out to be one of our biggest supporters on the independent film list there that we're our independent podcast group. They wrote, currently listening to At Films Ferment's latest episode, Twin Films, on Apple. Some of these movies I remember, some not too much. A great episode, guys.
Shout out to Voice of Four. I'm assuming there are 4 people in that podcast.
There are, yes.
Gonna give a big thank you to You, Me, and a Movie with Donald and No Pizza.
Yes, there is.
Your turn.
Lay out.
I know I was looking something up on Twitter that I wanted to read. So
it's your turn. You're live.
we are back to the Blockbuster podcast.
John at Wrestling Fans Insight Podcast. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Hey, stop thinking with your butt. Thank you.
DJ Scoob at the Undiscovered Entrepreneur.
The fan in the van down by the river. Thanks so much, man.
Give a shout out to 1420 Sports Bar Podcast.
Shout out to one of the podcasts with one of the best names out there, the Masturbators.
And today we laughed. We learned. Thank you.
All Hallows Eve, who I had already just read a message from, also wrote to us on Twitter. Thanks for your support. We just listened to your latest on Good Pods. Thanks for the kind words on your show. I'm sorry, this is what I wrote to them. So I wrote to them.
The weaker beer.
Yeah. So what I was writing to them about was the host of the show was having some family emergency thing and was going to have to take some time off from the show and was worried about how they were going to continue to go on in his absence. And they had found some people, I think it was his daughter or something, is going to take his place on the show until he's able to get back. But I had told him, we listened to your show in Good Pods. Hope everything works out with you guys with the family stuff. We're all here to support each other in this group. So let us know if you need help with anything while your show is on hiatus and all that. Because on their show, and the reason I wrote them this was when I was listening to their show, they shouted us out on the show, but they also said, as they shouted it out, you guys have to go out there and listen to Films and Fermentation. It's a really good show. The guys are very entertaining. We're fans for life and all that stuff. Like they not just only shouted us out, but had like a lot of really nice things to say about us. And so, so I made sure, like, I sent them that thank you. And then that's when they said, that they were listening to our episode and all that. So they're a good couple of people. There's two hosts on that show. And, we appreciate all the support. And we love, we get kind words from you people. Our main segment tonight is brought to you by Newsly.
Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Follow any topic from sports, tech, business, science, even Bitcoin. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. Our podcast is there too. Download and use Newsly for free now from www.newsly.me or from the link in the description, and use the promo code NFerment to receive 1 month free premium subscription. Stop scrolling, start listening.
Newsly!
Got me. So we took a little break to refill our drinks before the main segment. Mike got himself a bigger peppermint White Russian or whatever it was called. Kev, you're still drinking Long John?
Long John, yeah. I'm coming to the end, but I got my backup. I'm good.
And I killed the chocolate raspberry porter, which, Mike, you were away as I told Kevin this. I gave it a 4.75.
Wow.
Out of 5,
Yeah.
which that's good for me. Like, I never give things high ratings. You know that.
No.
Which meant that I had to give a lower rating to vanilla cold brew. But not much lower. I gave it a 4. It's still pretty tasty, but it's not as good as the raspberry one. I was actually surprised. The vanilla cold brew one is sweeter than the raspberry one was. I thought the raspberry one would have been sweeter.
Yeah, chocolate raspberry.
It was a little tart. It was tart.
little tart.
So our main segment. Oh, go ahead. What are you gonna say? Say something.
Not like when Kevin had last week.
Oh no! What was that one? Yeah, tart. Tart.
Tart. That was the key lime from Double Nickel.
So it was also we both
sour.
all three of us just finished drinking like the fucking darkest, most
Yeah.
chocolatey, like
Sweetest thing out
sweetest things there. And then I had the same thing because I went and switched to it was some kind of like blonde ale or something like that, and I was like, holy shit, this is so much more bitter than the other one I was drinking.
Yeah. It was so sour.
I don't know if I'm going to get to the third one tonight or not. We'll see. The third one is Toasted Amber Lager. I might crack it open after the show just to taste it.
Yeah.
So tonight's main segment is a Scrooge off. That's not something X-rated. We're going to be talking about Ebenezer Scrooge, particularly how Ebenezer Scrooge is portrayed in film. Each of us picked a favorite performance by a renowned actor, and we're going to argue why that person is best. I had to go to my backup because Mike and I both chose the same one. Better planning. Better planning next time. We should probably talk about it beforehand. My thing tonight was I wanted to try to surprise each other because I honestly thought all three of us would have picked something different, but But I have a backup, and I like my backup anyway. Even though my backup has been in trouble in the news lately, we'll briefly mention that. So, Kev, why don't you start us off? Because even though I didn't choose him as my favorite, I really do like this performer and his version of Ebenezer.
Yeah. So mine is, and it's not even like a theatrical release. This was a made-for-TV movie, but it had a lot of big names in it. This is the 1984 George C. Scott version of A Christmas Carol, and I think that some of this is parental, persuasion. This was one of my mother's favorite ones. Brainwashing, if you want to call it that. But I like I just like the story, and the more I've watched it and the more I've read about it, it's very close to the actual story. There are some slight differences. It had George C. Scott, obviously, as Ebenezer Scrooge, who is, yes, an American actor, but he was able to pull it off. Who is Bob Cratchit was David Warner, who I think just passed not long ago.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I think he's within the past year, if not 2 years. Susanna York, Laurel, is it Laurel from Superman? Anyway, she was Mrs. Cratchit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some fun fact. Okay, so Roger Reese playing, nephew Fred, and his sister was played by Joanna Whaley.
Joanna Whaley. Yeah.
Joanne Whaley. Very, very, hot back in the 80s.
Yes.
It had some serious names that they had it. It was Michael Gould as Mr. Poole, one of the collectors for the poor and destitute. And the who am I thinking of here? The spirits. I wasn't too familiar with Angela Pleasance, who played the Ghost of Christmas Past, but Edward Woodward played the Ghost of Christmas Present, and he was in such things as The Wicker Man and The Equalizer. He was actually in Hot Fuzz too.
Oh, wow.
Shocked about that, yeah. And guess who plays the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come?
A robe.
Michael Carter. Well, he is a robe, but it's Michael Carter. And you should be able to identify him by his long fingers as he's doing his direction. He's also the guy that played Bib Fortuna. Right? Ojaba no bother. Ojaba no bother. Is a Jedi.
Is a Jedi.
He's a Jedi.
David Warner. I was looking to see. Yeah, he just passed away this year. Yeah, recently, David Warner. He's one of those when you see him actors, but you don't know his name.
Yeah, I mean he's littered throughout the Star Trek universe. He's done so many different roles in Star Trek. But he plays a very good villain too, and I mean Bob Cratchit was such a wholesome character, and then you've seen him in things where he just plays a villain, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Let's see.
so yeah, Joanne Whaley, pretty hot in the '80s, but I don't know who this Susanna York person is that played Mrs. Cratchit, but she ain't
No,
too bad
she
to look
was
at
in
either.
Superman. She was Clark Kent's father, or she was
Father, that was Marlon Brando.
sorry, she was Jor-El's
Jor-El, yeah, okay.
Kal-El's mother. Kal-El's mother.
Yes, yeah.
Right. She's Laura L.
Laura,
That's it.
yeah,
Laura L.
she's cute.
So George C. Scott's son, is it son or grandson? I was looking up some trivia. George C. Scott's grandson plays. He does. He plays Scrooge in theater.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty interesting.
You also got Roger Reese, who played Fred, which is we know him from Warehouse
Cheers.
13.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. He's another one of those like kind of character actors who's been in, like a million things.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Prestige as well.
Yes, he was.
He was also the sheriff of Rottingham in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes, he was.
Mhm.
Yep.
So that's a good one, yeah. And I'll tell you, like, I like the George C. Scott one too, so I can't complain with it. Is that the one? Is that the one like when he's with the ghost of Christmas Present? The ghost like opens up the bottom of his robes.
Yes.
And it's like the two children. Yeah.
The two children that are.
They also do that in the version with
Jim
Patrick
Carrey.
Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that was creepy as shit, man.
Yeah,
that was creepy.
So I like the George C. Scott one because when I was a kid, this was the first one I ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first time I ever watched A Christmas Carol was the George C. Scott version, and I remember being freaked the shit out by those kids, man. But also like really liking the story and stuff.
So
and I want to say the second one I think I saw was the original one in 1938.
Oh yeah. I've seen that one too with Alistair.
It doesn't hold up very well.
No. What was I going to say? Okay, so something about the Christmas Carol. This version of Christmas Carol, George C. Scott is in like almost like evening attire, not a nightgown and nightcap, but he's in like actual attire, and that's true to the book. So that was pretty interesting. And what was the other thing? Oh, this is the only, not the only version, but this is one of the few versions where you actually see Ebenezer's father and that interaction when he's with the Ghost of Christmas Past, and you kind of understand the coldness he feels, from his dad, and kind of how that emulates from him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what else I just remembered from that film that used to freak me out too was, aside from the kids, was I always thought the ghost of Marley was really creepy in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was like all like the real big mouth. He was like all gray and all. Yeah. He was really creepy shit too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Michael Carter, who played the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, who used to play Bid Fortuna.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at his profile pic on IMDb. Dude looks like Jack Palance.
Yeah, it does.
It looks a lot like Jack Palance. It's kind of weird. Yeah. All right. So, Mike, I think you should go next, since you and I actually had the same one, but I conceded to let you have it, and I chose my backup. But I do have some things I'll add to it as well. So you go ahead and tell us who you chose for your Scrooge off.
I chose Michael Caine from The Muppets Christmas Carol from 1992.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any guy who could play, as he says, I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink. I will never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as an utterly dramatic role, and there are no puppets around me. And he does.
Yeah.
Because you got to think it's got to be tough with guys laying on the ground being puppets around him.
No,
Keep a straight face.
It's always one of the reasons it's like one of my favorites. And I wrote, in my original notes before conceding to you, why did I choose this one? And I wrote, It's Michael Caine and a fucking Muppets Christmas Carol. What else do you want?
I do have a con for this movie version of it. Since it is a kids movie, the scarier scenes are more lighthearted or completely taken out. Like Marley and Marley is not scary.
Mm.
They don't show the kids under the robe in this one. But I do like how they show how the Ghost of Christmas Present ages, which they kind of forget in some of the versions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he ages and pretty much is gone.
He's only there for 24 hours. It's all he's got.
Yep. But a lot of the versions miss that.
Mm-hmm. I like the Ghost of Christmas Past, how they do the special effect for that one.
Yeah.
It was a Muppet filmed underwater, and then placed in using a green screen effect.
I do have some trivia for this one, though.
No, you did say like you don't think the scarier scenes are as scary as they usually are, but it is a little bit darker for a children's film in the sense that it's one of the few films that show like how sick Tiny Tim really is.
It does. Though I don't know if you guys know this, but the song "When Love Is Lost" it was cut out of the theatrical version. It's only on like a few of the DVD ones.
So,
and you have to, if you watch it on Disney Plus, you have to go to the extras to get that song into the version.
Megan and I watched the version that they had uploaded to Prime, and she had pointed that out that the song was missing. And when I looked it up, it had also said that it was on the Disney Plus version.
Yeah.
They said if you had seen the original, no,
It was too sad. They said it was too sad for a kids movie.
Yeah, and I had never seen the theatrical release. I didn't see this till it actually came out on video, so I never saw it without the song cut out. But what I had read in the trivia of it was that the people who saw it in the theater, it was kind of jarring because the cut kind of like it went from like one scene to another without like enough explanation. Like the song kind of leads you into that next scene.
They're like crying for no reason. Go to Disney Plus and just play it. It would have the cut version. To watch the one with the song, you have to go to the extras and play the full version.
If you watch it using like the adult account on Disney Plus, do you think it's still on there?
No, it's actually it's on there, but if you play the version that's up, you just hit play. It's the cut version.
Okay.
You have to go to extras, and it has the full version underneath. You can play it that way.
Yeah, because like
I just watched it tonight. So.
when I want to watch something like like Daredevil or something like that, like I have to sign in with my my 21 and older account in order to play it. So I wondered if maybe they had the uncut version available that way.
I don't have a 21 and under account, so.
Well, I have like my nieces and nephews come over to watch, and they want to watch Disney Plus. I use the Katie's account as like the kids account, so
that makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah.
This is also one of the first Muppet movies where Kermit is not the leading role.
It's Michael fucking Caine.
This is also the first major Muppet project after Jim Henson died.
Yeah.
There were actually two major deaths because it was Jim Henson and was it Brian?
No, it wasn't Brian.
I can't remember the guy's name.
TV.
Bob
Barker.
I can't remember the guy's name now. There was another one of the voice actors who was friends with Jim Henson. Steve Whitmire is the guy that took over. No, he's the guy that took over for Jim Henson.
Yeah, let me see.
Richard Hunt.
Yes, that's it.
Richard Hunt. Yeah, Richard Hunt was the voice of Scooter.
Yep.
And he and Henson together did Waldorf and Statler on the Muppet Show. When Richard Hunt died, they actually didn't have Scooter in the film because they didn't have a voice actor to take his place. And so he kind of got cut out of the film. And I don't know if they ever brought Scooter back. I don't remember seeing him in any of the later films.
Oh, he was in the Muppet movie, the one that they pulled out not too long ago.
Well, I think that's also because they kind of like, they have all new voice actors now because it's since Brian Henson's been in charge of it and Disney took it over and all that. Yeah, it was
Another one.
weird because Jim Henson died of it was like a pneumonia or like something like that. Like it was like a sudden death because he was only like 53 years old, and then Whitmere had AIDS and died only not Whitmere. What I say his name was Richard Hunt, and he only died a couple years later. So it was like within like a 2-year span, they lost 2 major voice actors, including the creator of the Muppets. And this was, I think, the first theatrical release since their death.
Yeah. Here's an interesting fact that I saw. In the final musical scene, there's a store in the background called Micklewhite. Sir Michael Caine was born Maurice Joseph Micklewhite.
About that.
There's also a Waldorf and Statler store in the background too somewhere. It's like a hat store or something like that. So yeah, I'm not gonna. Again, this is another one I can't. We were supposed to be like arguing the point for who had the better Scrooge, but I can't argue for either of these because I love the George C. Scott one, and I also had the Michael Caine one with the Muppets for my pick, and decided to go with my backup just for the sake of talking about a different version.
Here's something funny that I saw. I read in the commentary. The creators were related a funny story from the screenings. A few children asked what the bookkeepers did wrong to get coal at the end. They completely slipped their minds that Santa gives bad children coal in their stockings.
Another thing about this one too is it's one of the few versions of the Christmas Carol that show more than one person working for Scrooge.
Yes,
in most of the adaptations, it's just Bob Cratchit. And but if you read the book, he did have other workers other than Bob Cratchit. So, although Bob Cratchit is the one that's featured because of Tiny Tim.
Yes.
So my backup that I chose for the sake of having a different topic is Scrooged, starring Bill Murray. Now, Bill Murray's been in the news a lot lately for allegations of sexual misconduct. Based on the characters that he played in the 80s, not too surprising. He's apparently kind of creepy in real life. Like outside of that, he's been known to like crash people's parties randomly and not like celebrities, like regular people. Like he just seems like a
Bill Murray.
Yeah, he's just like a really strange dude. Especially when you see his later career and like the things he does in the Wes Anderson films, you're like, yeah, he's got a little bit of a screw loose. But I'm going to put all that aside just to talk about, this film, which is back in the heyday, back when Bill Murray was the man in the 80s. And here's some things I like about Scrooge, aside from the fact that Bill Murray stars in it. Directed by Richard Donner, who directed the Superman films, or at least the 2 good Superman films, Superman and Superman 2.
Yeah, see, mine was directed by Clive Donner, so we got 2 Donners here.
2 Donners, and Mike's was directed by Blitzen.
One of the 8 reindeers' name is Donner.
Is Donner.
I know another reason.
This is like that. This is like that thing, like Howard Kennedy and Lincoln related. Like,
another reason I know you like this is because Karen Allen's in it.
Oh yes,
that's true.
Steal my thunder, dude. Yes, I was gonna say stars Bill Murray, Karen Allen, one of my '80s crushes, right up there with Carrie Fisher and Diane Lane. John Forsythe, John Glover. John Glover is another one of those like guys whose faces you see everywhere, sort of character actors.
Yes.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh my God!
Back when he mattered. Kev, do your Goldthwait impression. Carol Kane.
Buster Poindexter too, right?
Yeah, it's David Johansen, Buster Poindexter.
Oh, was that a character he played? Was Buster Poindexter?
Buster Poindexter was his like front name for the band that he was lead singer of. He was lead singer of the New York Dolls, and his real name was David Johansen. He was the Ghost of Christmas Past. He was the cab driver, basically. Carol Kane is the Ghost of Christmas Present. I don't know. Is there a Ghost of Christmas?
It's like all televisions when you look at it.
Yeah, but I was looking
Yeah.
to see if there was like a name for like who was like behind it or whatever, but I don't see it. It also had some notable cameos because the whole basis of it is Bill Murray's character, whose name is Frank Cross, is the producer at a television station, and they're doing a new televised version of Scrooge. And so you have Jamie Farr, best known as Klinger from MASH, as Marley. Scrooge is played by comedian of the 60s and 70s, Buddy Hackett. Robert Goulet as Robert Goulet. Lee Majors as Lee Majors. So you have some like notable little like cameos in there as well. Early film for Alfre Woodard, one of her like early roles. Yeah, it's a fun film. Very bizarre, very quirky. It's funny because it kind of does stick to the story pretty.
It's more of an updated version.
It's an updated version. You're talking about American actors playing Scrooge. At least this is an American version of Scrooge.
Yes.
With an American actor playing it, which, as we'll see on the ranker list later, there are some other Americanized versions of the story, although some that are quite weird. This was a big budget feature. Mars. This was one of the bigger hits of 1988. Short film too, hour and 41 minutes. Probably one of the shortest Scrooge movies.
Except for the Muppets. It's
Except
only
for the
an
Muppets.
hour and 29 minutes.
I'm looking at some of the trivia here, so I'm like kind of doing this like on the fly because I didn't like put as much work into this one as I did with the Michael Caine one. When the Ghost of Christmas Present, Carol Kane grabs Bill Murray by the lip, she actually tore it so badly that they had to halt filming for several days to wait for it to heal.
Oh wow,
that has to fucking hurt.
Yeah.
This was Bill Murray's first starring role since Ghostbusters in 1984. He had been living in Paris and had seriously considered giving up acting at that point in his life. He was like almost like semi-retired. Jack McGee ad-libs the line, "You can hardly see them nipples." It was when the dancers come out in the middle of the Scrooge thing that they're producing.
Her nipples. You barely see those nipples. I can't see those nipples. I can't see those nipples.
The street musicians that Bill Murray insults are all played by actual like successful musicians. Paul Schaefer, who was the band leader for the David Letterman show, Miles Davis, David Sanborn, and Larry Carlton, who were all jazz musicians. Carol Kane got upset at having to rough up Bill Murray in their scenes together.
But she ripped his fucking
lip. I was going to say, it's kind of funny considering she ripped his lip open. Sam Kinison was originally going to play the part of the Ghost of Christmas Past, but the part was eventually given to David Johansen, or as you said, Buster Poindexter, due to his friendship with Bill Murray. They were friends. So he kind of kiboshed him. Do you imagine Sam Kinison, man? Like he was... Scrooge. I love him in Back to School as the history teacher. When the Ghost of Christmas Present first appears in the movie, she says to Frank, "I'm a little muddled." This is a direct quote from Glinda the Good Witch and the Wizard of Oz when she first meets Dorothy in Munchkinland. Bill Murray ad-libbed most of his lines, surprisingly.
Yeah.
In a 1988 interview with the Philadelphia Daily News, Richard Donner discussed Murray's penchant for improvisation and described the experience of directing Murray as follows: "It's like standing on 42nd Street and Broadway and the lights are out and you're the traffic cop."
Well, apparently, it was one of the things we were saying that these two didn't get along at all. They argued the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like story I kind of hear about Bill Murray a lot, especially with the 80s films. It's one of the reasons that he and what's he gone?
Chevy Chase? Oh no, Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis like just like stopped talking to each other for a really long time because when they did Groundhog's Day together, it apparently was a very like volatile set.
I think that must be like a SNL 80s requirement is that you are difficult to work with because Chevy Chase was also
Chevy
that
Chase
way.
he's got such a reputation for being like a dick behind the scenes.
Yeah.
This one is really interesting to me, and I'm like, man, what a sliding doors moment here where this could have been like such a different thing. Bill Murray, in order to make this film, turned down the lead roles in Cocktail, Big, and Rain Man. Now, Tom Hanks was nominated for Best Actor for Big that year. Dustin Hoffman won the Best Acting Oscar for Rain Man that year. And I don't know what role he would have played in Cocktail. I'm assuming the Brian Brown role and not the Tom Cruise one.
But he could have taken 2 movies and worked for Tom Cruise twice.
Yeah, right. I can't imagine him. I'm trying to think, like, yeah. So if he did Rain Man, I'm guessing he would have been the Dustin Hoffman character, unless he was going to be the Tom Cruise character with Dustin Hoffman.
Is that why he did What About Bob later?
Yeah. What About Bob? A little bit underrated. The Ghost of Christmas Past cab belongs to the Bell Cab Company. Bell is the name of Scrooge's first love in the Charles Dickens novel, from which the story is loosely taken. So it's a fun movie. It's one I haven't seen in a while. I should probably rewatch that. I'm looking at some of the quotes from it. Frank, the bitch hit me with a toaster. It's Christmas Eve. It's the one night of the year where we all act a little nicer. We smile a little easier. We cheer a little more. For a couple hours out of the whole year where we are the people that we always hoped we would be. That's like towards the end.
Did I forget something, big man? God bless us, everyone.
Not only does Tiny Tim ditch the cane, but does a backflip and somersaults all the way.
Isn't it? What's her face? It's what's her face? Mary Lou Retton. Yeah. I like the mouse when he's talking with the guy that's the mouse wrangler. He's like the mouse whisperer for the set. And he's like, I can't get the antlers glued to this little guy. We tried crazy glue, but it don't work. And he goes, did you try staples? And this is kind of funny here because there's a scene where he's looking at a dilapidated building and he's like, this is nice. Where are we? Trump Tower? Yeah, good one, man. So that's our Scrooge off. Now, personally, I would have rather have talked about Michael Caine, but I gave it to you, Mike. So for me, Michael Caine is the best Scrooge. I don't think I can argue against George C. Scott, though, or Bill Murray. So I think all 3 of us won tonight.
We're all winners.
We're all winners here. It's just like Little League.
We all get a participation trophy.
We all get a trophy. So according to Ranker, which I like going to Ranker for these lists because that's all they do is ranked lists. And they're pretty good. I like the articles, and they have a lot of good sub lists too. Like they have one called Graveyard Shift, which is all creepy facts, and they have one that's like all 80 stuff. So it's a really cool website. So this is the best. Yeah, I read it for the articles. This is the best actors who played Scrooge, according to Ranker. Number 1, Alastair Sim, who was Scrooge in the 1951 version.
Okay.
I know I've seen this one. But I definitely only saw it like once. It's not one I've rewatched. Number 2, George C. Scott.
No, it's not.
Number 3, Michael Caine. So like we have the top 2 and 3 spots at least. Actually, number 4, Albert Finney.
Lee, I'm on the website that you gave us. It says 2 is Michael Caine.
Really?
George C. Scott is 3.
Oh, somebody must have voted him up. because you can vote. The fans can vote. I'm looking at the original link, and
I
he has
don't
them as number
know.
3.
I don't know who could have done
Let
that.
me
I'm so sorry.
refresh the page and see what happens. So, Alistair Sim, number 2, Michael Caine.
Hold on.
Number 3,
Give me a minute.
George
Give me a
C.
minute.
Scott.
Give me a minute. You'll be right
Yeah,
again. Hold
vote. I'm going to vote for Michael Caine to keep him on top. See if I can get him a number 1.
People agree with me.
70 people agree. Let's downvote that old dude.
No.
Yeah, because we gotta get number 5.
We got to get Michael Caine on number 1. This is like us fighting to get the number 1 on Good Pods. Number 4 is Albert Finney.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen the Albert Finney one.
No.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Patrick Stewart, number 5. I've seen that one. I
One
like
of
the
my
Patrick
favorite.
Stewart one. Yeah. Christopher
Yeah.
Plummer, number 6.
I don't think I've seen that one.
This one was called The Man Who Invented Christmas.
Okay.
It's kind of more about, I think, Charles Dickens and
Okay.
writing A Christmas Carol and all that. Reginald Owen, who played Scrooge in 1938. And from the look of this picture, I think he was a younger actor wearing makeup. Because that does not look real. Bill Murray, 1988 Scrooge, number 8. Number 9, Jim Carrey in A Christmas Carol, the animated. This one was terrible.
Yeah.
Kev, you and I saw this in the theater. We went and saw the 3D version of it.
Yeah. It
And
made
I
me
don't think I've ever
nauseous.
actually watched
Yeah,
it.
even the 3D version didn't
Mm-mm.
I'll tell you what I didn't like about it. The really creepy Bob Cratchit that was a tiny body and a giant head, played by Gary Oldman, that looked just like Gary Oldman with a little body and a giant head. It was very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
There's apparently a new animated Scrooge coming out sometime this year, I think. Seymour Hicks, 1913 silent film, and then reprised the role in 1935. That's impressive.
It is.
Michael
He was
Gambon.
young in
Oh, this is an interesting one. Number 11 is Michael Gambon. This is actually from an episode of Doctor Who.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and it's kind of a
good
similar
episode.
thing. Yeah, it was a good episode. Yeah, it was one of the Christmas specials, obviously. Guy Pearce in 2019 in A Christmas Carol. That looks like an interesting one. I have to check that one. I like Guy Pearce. Henry Winkler is one of the American actors to play an Americanized version of it called An American Christmas Carol. Now, if you're looking at the picture I'm looking at, this was filmed in 1978, I think, which means Henry Winkler was still playing Fonzie on Happy Days at the time. So that's obviously makeup on his face.
Yes, obviously. Yes,
making him look somewhat like the Neanderthals that you see in the Smithsonian Institute. Tim Curry, 1997. I didn't know Tim Curry played Scrooge, and I kind of want to see it now. Kind of want to see this one now.
I knew.
Gene Lockhart, 19. Whenever. It doesn't have a name for this one. I'm assuming this is in the 50s. Bransby Williams in 1928. That's going to be another silent film, probably. Basil Rathbone in 1956 Basil. And 58. That is just an amazingly British name. Basil Rathbone. That's like a Bond villain. Kelsey Grammer in 2004.
Basil Rathbone was Sherlock Holmes for years.
Yeah, but look at the way Kelsey Grammer looks.
He looks like Iggy Pop.
14 Hollywood films.
He looks like a washed up pirate.
He looks like Iggy Pop in The Crow Part 2. Simon Callow. Mike, you know this guy from Phantom of the Opera. He was one of the guys that buys the opera.
He was also in Doctor Who.
He was also in 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah, so it's probably most of the actors on this list were in Doctor Who.
Actually, I think he played Charles Dickens.
Yeah.
In Doctor Who, yeah.
Charles Rock, 1914. That's another silent film. Russell Thorndike, 1923. Another silent film. Jack Palance, A Christmas Carol, 1998. This has to be an Americanized one.
A Western one.
Yeah, Thomas
Ricketts. I didn't know he was from Pennsylvania.
He's from Hazel Township. Thomas Ricketts, 1908, another silent film. I don't know how you rank the silent films. I imagine you probably can't even find half of them anymore.
They had the best English accents in the silent films.
So I'd be interested in seeing this one, number 25, Catherine Tate. Catherine Tate was Donna Noble in Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yeah, like I'd be interested to see her playing a female version of Scrooge. Rupert Julian,
Man,
1916,
Carol.
and then the last one, number 27, Susan Lucci. Desperately trying to get that Emmy still in 1995.
Yes.
I'll tell you, if I were to make the Scrooge character a woman, I'd probably go with Dame Judi Dench.
Oh, so you want to go right to our next segment, female recasts.
See how I segued? See how I segued?
Yeah, it was a
nice.
good segue. Very good
Thank
segue.
you.
You didn't
Thank
fuck it
you.
up.
Smooth.
I
Thank
had
you.
thought about Dame
Thank you.
Judi Dench. She was one of the ones I was really thinking about. I thought she'd be a great one.
Mhm.
I decided though to go a different direction. I decided to go with Helen Mirren.
Ooh.
I think Helen Mirren would make a very good Scrooge as well. Katie, my wife, said Meryl Streep, and I thought Meryl Streep was just like the obvious choice.
Right.
So that's why I decided to go with Helen Mirren. And Mike, did you have one in mind?
No, not really. I didn't get to think about it. I've been
No.
I thought another one, and I thought maybe you might have went with this one, Mike, and because it's another one that I thought of too, was Maggie Smith.
Oh yeah, Maggie Smith could do it.
Yeah, I thought Maggie Smith, Dame Judi Dench, and Helen Mirren. If you wanted to stick to like the British actresses, I thought that was a good roundup.
There was someone else I was thinking of too. Let me see if I can find her. Oh shoot! And from Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the one
Imelda
that played.
Staunton?
Is that the one I'm thinking of?
The one that played what's her face? Dolores Umbridge.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Imelda Staunton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would probably be a good one too because she can play it like Dolores Umbridge.
Mhm.
I thought if you wanted to go racially diverse and gender swapped, Viola Davis making a really good Scrooge as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like really good ones out there. I think you can go with it.
I got one in mind.
Okay.
How about her name?
Margot Robbie.
I don't know why you did that. Ads.
Give me a hint.
Is she bigger than a bread box?
Is she British?
Yes, she is. Misery.
Oh, Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. Yes.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Kathy Bates, I think, would be a good one too. You obviously like when an actress that's older, but not like too old. Like Maggie Smith, like I thought, but I'm like Maggie Smith is always made to look older than she actually is in movies, so it's hard to tell sometimes if it's like actually, How about Bette Midler? You think she'd be a good Scrooge?
She was good in Hocus Pocus as a witch.
But do you think like her Scrooge would be a little too comedic?
I think so, yeah.
Probably.
A little too like over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I like the first three choices, like Maggie Smith, Judi Dench, or Helen Mirren. I think they would all make really good Scrooges. Get that going out there, Hollywood. You're already making fucking remakes of everything else. Might as well try this one out.
So Maggie Smith was born in 1934.
Wow.
Her birthday comes up in
So carry the one. All right. Mike, do you have any beer wisdom for us this evening?
I do. It's actually the last one for the year, too. Oh, right. Not the right one. Here it is.
Boy,
Too much of anything is bad, but too much beer is just right.
So, in our last segment here, revisiting drinks, I'm cracking open the third one because I wanted to try it, even though I'm probably going to be finishing it off the air. The third one is Shiner Toasted Amber Lager. Again, this is from the Spetzel Brewery in Texas, Shiner, Texas. And this is a lightly toasted barley and hops amber lager. I'm glad I saved that one to last. It's definitely my least favorite. That one it's a little slightly bitter because it's an ale. I don't know. It's an amber lager, but it tastes more like an ale.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it's. I mean, all three of them were good.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like it's not bad. It's not great, but I would definitely get the chocolate raspberry porter one again.
Definitely.
That one was definitely. I watched Judge Wapner. Yeah. But I would definitely get that one. That one was really, really good, especially considering I gave it a 4.75, which is a rarity for me.
Hard on for you. Yeah.
Kev, how was your stuff?
Mine
We
was
had
good.
the Long John, so
I had the Long John and I cracked open the Winter Warmer, and they were both quite tasty.
all right. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us tonight. This is our season 4 finale.
Or should we have a
hope-
climactic ending?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Guys, I'm not sure I'm coming back next season.
No,
I'm coming back next season.
Mike, didn't you say you had like a soundboard for your Scrooge shit?
I did. But I just turned it off.
I was like, I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, I
now.
didn't hear any Scrooge sound effects. It's one of the reasons I conceded it to you. But this is our season 4 finale. This is episode 87, which means we are slowly climbing towards our 100th episode. In fact, we will only be 13 episodes into season 5 when we hit number 100.
And if you guys have ever seen us, you know if we're climbing slowly.
Yeah.
Every time.
You should have seen me trying to get up off the
Let's
ground
go
last
to
night. After being laying on the ground for 2 hours trying to fix my car, man, I was like trying to get up off the ground was not fun. So, as I was saying, our next episode will be episode 88. That'll be our season 5 premiere, and that will be on Monday, January 9th. And because it's our premiere, we're going to be revisiting one of our favorite topics, films that time forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be each of us will be picking a film that we love from our youth and trying to get each other to guess the film. We also are going to do some more like director episodes, actor episodes like we've done in the past, revisit some of our previous topics as well as visit some new ones in the upcoming season, and make sure you stay on board for episode 100 because it's a milestone episode. So we're going to hopefully come up with something good to do for that.
We're going to whip out our tuxes and we're going to shine our shoes.
Oh! Excuse me while I whip this out. So again, thank you for joining us tonight for episode 87, the season 4 finale, Scrooge You. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Again, you can visit us at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com. Please, feel free to give us some drink suggestions, some show ideas, some movies you'd like to hear us talk about. We're always open to a little bit of commentary out there. And don't forget to stop by the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented on January 9th for the season 5 premiere, Films That Time Forgot. Again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Happy holidays, everybody. Be safe. Have some fun during this winter break coming up. Happy New Year. And we'll see you all safe and sound again in 2023. Cheers.
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 Hello, sir.
Kevin.
Your sound's off, Kevin.
This video's off.
No video, no sound.
Is he really here?
Kev, man.
No.
Kev, man.
There he is.
He's the ghost of Christmas fuckery. You look like Little Mac and Mike Tyson. Let's punch you. telling Mike I'm doing the show wrapped in a blanket tonight because I'm freezing my ass off because I just spent the 2 hours last night laying on the cold ground because the headlight went out in Katie's car and I was trying to fix it.
Oh,
And then we bought the wrong size headlight, so I had to get the new one tonight, and we're
try it
putting
again.
it in the middle of a monsoon
Yeah.
because
Megan's
we both
running
need
out
our
now.
cars
And
tomorrow.
I was yelling at her. I was like, "You don't have to go out to get. We have a Secret Santa tomorrow, and I forgot to get the gift card. It's like I can stop tomorrow morning and get a gift card. No, I'll go out. I'm already. It's oh my god. Whatever.
Whatever. Did we all choose different Scrooges? Hopefully tonight. You think?
I hope so.
Oh, I doubt it.
You doubt it?
No, I'm kidding.
I
sure you will.
chose the Michael Caine Muppets one.
So did I.
I knew it. I knew somebody was going to have the same one. And
You guys saw
Kev,
the
you
text
did
I
George
sent.
C. Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George C. Scott.
I even got a whole soundboard here with it.
Well, Mike, we can share it, and then I can do a backup one as well.
Bill Murray.
Scrooged?
That's the one I thought you were going to do.
No. I thought you would have done the Disney one. Scrooge McDuck.
I thought he was going to do the one with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. All right, we got to cancel the show now. We got.
Womp womp.
All right, we'll make it work.
Maybe we should have discussed who we were doing before.
Yeah, right. I would thought it'd been nice if all three of us had the same one, and then we could have just had a shorter show and just been like, "We all right."
And the best one,
and
Michael Caine. And
the winner goes to.
Okay, we're good.
And the winner is.
Well, it couldn't go to George C. Scott. He doesn't accept awards for his performances.
Yeah, I know, right?
He loses automatically because he's not English.
Well, there are American actors who have played at least a version of Scrooge, which we'll see on the thing that I
The Ranker.
the Ranker thing.